Welcome back to Coates in Conversation. I'm your host, Kendrick Coates, a licensed therapist who works with couples and athletes in the state of Illinois and Alabama. In today's conversation, I'll be talking with CJ Lewis, a Jackson State University baseball player. We'll cover topics from transferring multiple schools, CJ losing a friend to suicide, and the importance of athletes branching outside of their comfort zone for not only athletic growth, but personal growth. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did, and be sure to like and subscribe to Coates in Conversation. CJ, how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I appreciate you taking some time in your busy baseball schedule to jump on to Coates in Conversation. To kick off today's episode, I know most people around you probably know CJ as the baseball athlete, but who is CJ outside of baseball?
CJ is a very quiet, self-centered person, keeps to himself, likes to read, likes to play video games, and ultimately likes to catch up on sleep that he misses during the season.
Catching up on sleep can be a chore, and I like to joke sometimes can be like a second job trying to
Yeah.
figure out when you're actually going to get them seasons. So I know when we talk about transferring schools, it's not an easy thing to do. Typically, you're going into new environments, meeting new people, having to deal with different coaches. So what were some of your biggest challenges in adjusting to new teams, coaches, and environments?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges is always kind of finding where you fit in. And you never know going into a new environment. You might have an expected idea of role, kind of what they want you to do on the team or whatnot. But when you get there, it can be completely different. As you know, people are coming in, new people are leaving, and things like that. But for me, it was basically where am I going to fit in? How am I going to fit in? What can I do to ultimately put myself in the best position to come in and be an impact player or person on the team, whatever it may be, and kind of just not step on the toes of what's already been in place for that program.
Hmm. So when you say not stepping on the toes of what's already in the program, how do you navigate that with also trying to position yourself for playing time? Because I know that was something that we had talked about when you transferred us to one school, and it was different. Like you weren't necessarily in the role that you wanted. So can you speak a little bit more of like how do you continue competing at a high level without stepping on the toes of other people or other things that are already implemented on that team?
I think it comes with an open line of communication. So for me, it was reaching out to some of those captains on the team, some of those older guys on the team, kind of figuring out what is the team dynamic. And I think that kind of helped me and helped them kind of build our relationship or kickstart our relationship, saying that, hey, I want to come in and make an impact, but I respect you guys and what you guys have already done with this program. How can I come in and add to that?
Um, I like hearing that because I can just even saying that you've got this team mindset, which I think in some cases a lot of us high performers want to be the dog. Like we want to go in and work for our playtime, but also trying to keep in mind that there are other people on the team and y'all are typically working towards the same goals. So when you've had to transfer multiple times, how has that impacted your mental health?
It's been tough. Early on, I would say like my freshman year after COVID happened and transferring, I wasn't as mature as I am now, so it was kind of, do I belong? And I was like the constant battle with myself of, did I pick the right place again? Why did this happen in the first place? Did I have to transfer? I thought this was going to be my home for the next 4 or 5 years of my life. Kind of just that internal battle with myself. It didn't affect me too much. I was only 2 hours away from home, and when I transferred, I was 45 minutes from home. So I ended up going to a school where I already knew some players there. I was close to home 45 minutes. I could go home whenever I wanted to. So I was close to my family and my support system. So that I think helped me a lot. After my second transfer from JUCO, that was probably my hardest transfer. I was 6 hours away from home to a place I've only driven through. So I didn't have that immediate support system. I'd have to always hop on the phone. That was a little bit more tough. I had to learn to be more independent, had to branch out, find new ways to kind of help myself calm down and just realize I'm here for a reason. Don't like overstimulate yourself, like take the weight off your shoulders. You're here for a reason. You're here to do what you've done your whole life, what you love doing. So I guess kind of that self-talk helped me with the mental battles of do I fit in? Do I belong?
Mhm. You know, now you are hours away from home at Jackson State. Tell me what that experience has been like. You're away from home again, and it's more probably a plane ride, really, if you like, unless you like driving. So, what's it been like now as you are a seasoned collegiate baseball athlete? Being away from home.
Yep, so this is the farthest school, 9 hours. I do drive it. I love to drive. I'm a big driver. But being coming to Jackson State, it was the farthest I've been from home, but also like the closest I've been to home, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
When I got here, I was welcomed with open arms. I could just remember one of the first times walking in the grocery store with some JSU baseball stuff on. They're like, "Oh my goodness, you play baseball at Jackson State. Like, if you ever need anything, just reach out." So ever since I stepped foot here 2 years ago, it has been a family away from my family. So that community aspect of Jackson State has really helped me a lot, and it's just made this really my second home.
Mm. I want to go back and ask you. I wanted to bring this back up, but as you were saying that and transferring from different schools and being away from family, how have you seen your performance on the baseball field change now that you're in an environment where you're welcome, you feel like you're at home versus maybe I know you mentioned with your JUCO school. Did you notice any differences with performance? Meaning like you fit in now, you feel comfortable versus not fitting in and not feeling comfortable.
Yeah, so I would say when I was at my JUCO, I was comfortable, but I think I was a little bit too comfortable. I at times I got pretty lazy. I feel like I didn't do the extra work that I do now at Jackson State. Maybe that's maturity, maybe it's just comfortability. But now that I'm away from home and I'm with these brothers, I call them, they we all push each other. We have that sense like we all come from far and wide. This has been the most diverse team that I've played on. We've got guys from Ecuador, Curacao, the Dominican, Puerto Rico, and seeing all these different backgrounds and all with the same goal is like we've all pushed each other to be better. We want to be better for ourselves, yes, but more so as a team. In JUCO, I felt it was more of we're here for a little bit. We want to get to our level. We after we committed, yeah, yeah, yeah. So what? Boom. We kind of I don't say I can't say we, but me personally, I kind of let off that gas. My
Mhm.
drive went down a little bit. I was like, I've already got what I came here for. So what do I need to do this, this, and this for? And I think that plays a part into me not being mature. But here it's different. It's I'm playing for me myself but my guys around me too so I don't want to let them down by being lazy or not giving them 100%.
And that's the important piece when it comes to teams. Like having teams, and I'm a former coach, so having teams that are connected, there is more of in my experiences, there is more of that. Let's hold each other accountable and let's continue working hard so we can accomplish this thing, whether it be states, regionals, playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what I'm hearing from your experience. You're in an environment to where you all are more you feel more connected with this group, and so there's that, let me give a little bit extra, let me put more time in, because if I don't, I'm going to let my other teammates down, which I think, that's I've talked about, what are ways that coaches can build a better team environment, and sometimes I feel like those are missing pieces. with really great coaches versus maybe mediocre coaches. So I'm glad that you're in that environment, as you said, just feeling more connected with one another. Kind of switching gears. So as we've talked about transferring schools, I know this was something that I believe has significantly was an event for you. So losing a friend was difficult. How, if you want to share the specifics, I wanted this to be more of your story without speaking for you, but uh, if you feel like sharing, share a little bit about that experience and how did that experience shape your perspective on mental health?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely was like it was so unknown for me. And it's one of those things where you don't really know how it's going to impact you until it happens. And fortunately, it did happen. It changed my aspect on mental health by basically something that you only kind of hear about to something that's like, this is real life. This is my life. How are we going to not only help myself but help others around me if I can? Um, so after everything happened, just kind of I took it upon myself to kind of research and just like I guess get more familiar with the topic, the very broad topic of mental health and how I guess it affects us differently. So how one thing affects someone is not going to affect another person the same. It was tough. It took me quite some time to figure out what was best for me. But once I figured out what was really good for me, I was able to help the others around me who weren't quite where I was yet in that situation.
And this happened, were you also in the middle of your baseball season when this happened?
This would have been, I think it was over this. No, actually, it wasn't spring. It was a spring. Yes.
Mm. And how did that impact just your focus, performance, your ability to show up in from a clear mindset? Like share a little bit about how that has impacted just overall performance.
Performance wise, it kind of shifted me from playing for myself to playing for others who cannot play. And so it made me dig deeper within myself to kind of stop the complaining, I guess, and the negative talk that goes along in every athlete's head. Oh, I don't want to do this day. Why do I have to do this? To I get to do this. I have the opportunity to do this. So it changed me from, I guess, that selfish inner athlete to an athlete who's going to do this because I can and I want to, not because I have to or I'm being told to.
That subtle shift in mind, good mindset is everything, as you know, as being an athlete. But having, I hear this sometimes with people of figuring out how to go through the grieving process, and sometimes it is, making meaning of that person who has passed away and honoring that person. And it sounds like those were the steps that you took, where it was okay. This, you had this subtle mindset shift, but it sounds like you also almost dedicated some of what you were doing to honor your friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a big thing for us as a community. It wasn't just the baseball or the softball team. It was everybody in our community. And it was really honestly beautiful to see just everybody come together, and that unity around both mental health and just overall well-being.
And that is a good segue into my next question. Coming from Bloomington, Illinois, and if people don't know where Bloomington, Illinois is, it's almost like smack dab in the middle of Illinois, where you have cornfields surrounded all by it. Maybe the landscape, you don't see mountains, you don't see hills, it's just flat. So you've had the opportunity to branch out and grow as an individual and as an athlete. How has stepping outside of Central Illinois or maybe your comfort zone influenced your personal growth, both as an athlete and as an individual?
It has changed me tremendously and for the better. I love Bloomington Normal, but being able to get out of there has been awesome. It's just crazy the world that's out there, and as cliche as that may seem, but there's so much out there. There's so much to learn going to all these different places that baseball has taken me is just you get to learn so much about yourself. You get to learn so much about other people and what they come from, like what their norms are and things like that. Branching out has been one of the best things for me, and I can't even like put it into words really how thankful I am for it. Like I said earlier on, like self-centered, like I will just keep quiet to myself. Um, but branching out in some cultures in baseball, as you can say, they're gonna make you talk. They're gonna make you dance on the bus or do whatever. But I've gotten more comfortable being uncomfortable by branching out, and I think it's helped me as a person, a student, and as a baseball player.
Mhm. What do you think has been, because it sounds like were you quiet in high school?
I around my friends, like my core group of friends, no, but around everybody else, yes, I was pretty quiet.
So most people, they interact with you or see you maybe the quiet side of you. What is branching out done for you as far as just friendships, relationships, etc.?
It's crazy. The baseball world is a small world, so being able to like branch out has helped me. Just this past weekend, one of my friends from JUCO, if I didn't branch out and reach out to them when I was in JUCO and didn't build that friendship, they might not have seen me this weekend. And so just little things like that, rekindling relationships, making new relationships has been tremendous for me. I think those being able to branch out into those friendships has been super impactful for me, and it's helped me gain friends that I can use in different aspects of my life. If I need a friend to guide me through the tough times in baseball, I know who I can go to. If I have a friend where I'm not feeling good, but I just need someone to talk to, I have a friend to go to. And it's helped me become that friend that other people can come to if they aren't feeling good, if they need some advice on this, or this. So branching out has helped me help other people and help other people help me.
Mm. I wish more people had maybe that same mindset of how branching out can be so beneficial, just even outside of sports, of being more open to different ideas, different thoughts, different opinions, etc. Because I would say, being growing up in the Bloomington normal area, you're kind of in this little bubble. And even in Illinois, just being in this bubble, but seeing different ways, like Jackson State is much different than Bloomington normal. I think you mentioned Ohio
Mm.
is much different than everything's different, but it also, like, I've done some traveling and been some places, and it's actually, in my opinion, is make you ask certain questions of yourself. Like, how am I seeing this thing, and can I challenge my viewpoint because of this person views it differently? Which, again, going back to my point, I wish more people were more cognizant of that. About, hey, there's more than just Bloomington normal. There's more than just the small community that we grow up from or grow up in. So we've hit a little bit on transferring different schools, navigating the loss of a friend, and branching out and learning more about yourself. Many athletes struggle with where to begin when it comes to therapy or mental health. What was your first experience like, and what advice would you give to those who feel hesitant about seeking out help?
So my first experience would have been after my second transfer. It was just one of those things where I didn't really know where to begin, so I just kind of shoved it all deep down inside and just kind of let it eat at me until it was just weighing me down. I couldn't do a lot of things. So my first step was part of that branching out was some of my friends, and so finding out who I could really go to talk to, and of course my family too. I'm really close with my parents, so being able to talk to them along with some of my friends, that was huge for me. Um, but from what I've heard from some of my other friends who there's a little bit tougher times than me, didn't have some of the relationships that I had. They talked about 988, And so 988 is it's a suicide lifeline, and but it's more than just that. It's a place where you can go to start. If you can call, you can text if calling is too scary. It's just somewhere where you can go to really put everything out there and get something in return without being judged. And so I would say if you don't feel comfortable talking to your friends, or you don't want to talk to your parents, or you just want to talk to a stranger that's gonna help you out, give you the right guidance, and just make you feel more comfortable, I would say 988 is the way to go.
You also, as you're describing these things, it's not typical in our community sometimes, especially us men, of like reaching out and getting help. You also have had, I think, influential people who have helped. I mean, I'm going off of our previous conversation. You're an ambassador. Do you want to speak a little bit about that and how that has helped guide you within mental health and just seeing different opportunities to pour into other people?
Yeah, so I'm an ambassador for a company called Stay Another Day, a Bloomington Normal legend, Mackenzie Pager. She does a great job over there. We actually worked out in high school together, and I would very much encourage you to look at her story. Her story is awesome. She does a really great job of explaining everything and really just making sure that everybody knows that you're not in this alone. Being an ambassador under someone like her is just it's inspirational. um, she does a great job of just making sure that everyone around her is okay while going through her own things. And so she is her own. She's our superhero, really. She's awesome. But the ambassador life has helped me be more comfortable with my situations, and it's also helped me help other people with their situations, and just kind of getting the word out there. You'll always see some of her clothes on me. It's like my whole wardrobe, something with "Stay Another Day" on it, something on the back that says like "Tomorrow needs you" or "I'm glad you're here." Just those little reminders that you are loved, you are wanted, that it is worth staying, and just you're not alone.
I think it's so important to have not only friends like that, but different resources out there for people because it is one of those things. And I'm licensed therapist, and people will come to me and they're like, well, so and so referred me, but if they didn't refer me, I would have never known about you. And that's why these conversations are so important. And I think, the more and more we can have these conversations, the more and more people will become more open to them, especially in that athletic space, because there are a lot of athletic spaces that push away mental health, but it's sometimes like, how do we even begin having the conversation when we do see an athlete or a coach or a teammate struggling with some of these things? And so you being able to have this wealth of knowledge and these tools to be able to share with other people is so important, and it's so valuable, because I think that when we can see athletes, because many young kids look up to athletes and even adults look up to athletes, when we can start expressing and showing like mental health isn't a bad thing. Like mental health is important for just sustainability, for our relationships, for our own mental well-being. These are essentials. It's almost as essential as drinking water, in my opinion. So I appreciate you sharing that. As we wrap up today's episode, what do you want people, whether it be athletes, parents, what do you want them to take away from this episode?
I would want them to take away that they're never alone. No matter what they're going through, they're never alone. Along with that, check on your people. I mean, you never know what someone's going through. I didn't know what someone was going through. It's something that you think about all the time. Like, what if I checked on them this day? What if I checked on them that day? So I would say check on your people, make sure they're okay. It doesn't hurt to reach out. Along with that, just kind of stay another day. Literally, it's one of the best things out there. Like, you are so wanted, you are so loved. Whether you don't see it today or if you don't see it tomorrow, just know you are loved.
CJ, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you as not an athlete, but just a person, as a human being. I think a lot of times, we look as athletes as just being an athlete. You are a human being, and you are a leader. being able to use your voice and spread the awareness of mental health and just even some of your own experiences that you shared today is so valuable. I hope people who are listening or watching this episode are able to take what you shared and some of your experiences and being able to use it within their own life to improve their situations or even being more open to mental health. So I thank you for taking the time to come on to Coats in Conversation to share your story.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
If you are watching Coats in Conversation on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, be sure to leave a comment below. What was your favorite part about this episode? If you know a friend or family member who is going through their own mental health struggles, be sure to share this episode with them. Before we wrap up, I want to say mental health is important. You are important. Each and every day, we lose people because they are struggling within their own mental health. If we, as CJ mentioned earlier, take the moment to reach out to them to see how they are doing, that can go a long way. Mental health doesn't have to be this scary monster. I've said this before in previous episodes. Mental health is waking up in the morning, drinking water, and being hydrated. Mental health is just going on a 5 to 10 minute walk. Mental health is putting your needs in front so that you can be there for other people, especially if you have kids or you're in a relationship. I appreciate you tuning in to this episode of Coats in Conversation. And until next time, I hope you enjoy.